pointers on how to answer the question and whatnot. All right. So it is some sort like a discussion revision sort of thing, right? So if your friend is not here, then they are going to miss a lot. All right. So far in my list, we got 11 of you here. All right. Supposed to be this class as 17, 17 or 18 or something. Okay. So do please in terms of make sure that your friend are here, right? Not 17, 20, sorry. 20 of you supposed to be here. And then now online is only 11. So we got 9 more. It's not here. All right. Can you identify your friend and then call them up and then wake them up so that they are going to be here because I might in terms of going to start without them. All right, since I might be talking in terms of these 2 hours, right? Because we got a lot of things to talk about, and then looking at the sample, looking at your work, and already written your work to you, right? And you can check it, my comment in terms of that. So we are going to select a few and then discuss about it as well, right? So can you please call your friend and then make sure they are online right now? All right, I'm not going to wait anymore. Let us start. Okay. All right. Talking about your assessment. Okay. A few things I need to mention regarding your assessment. Number one, your assessment are going to be administered on Thursday during your class hour. So your class hour for B will be 10:15. 10:15 until 12:15, right? So we are going to have the test on that particular day, right? So something that you need to take care and take note. Number one, make sure your internet connection is okay, right? Make sure your devices are okay as well because of the test, right? Number two, I'm going to administer the test via Google Classroom, right? You are going to have a test via Google Classroom, whereby I already set up the folder for the test for the assessment. All right. It's just that I haven't upload the question yet. I haven't put the question in the folder yet, because previously, based on our experience, is that students are able to hack the folder somehow. They are able to see the question earlier. So I will not put the question in the folder yet, but already set up the folder, schedule the folder of the assessment. Or during your class hour, I will upload the question, and then you are going to see the question during your class hour in terms of that inside the folder. All right, so I am going to put the answer template. In the answer templates, there are already the question. All right, so I am going to give you only one file, that is the answer template, whereby in the answer template there is the question already available in the answer template, the question for your test, right? So before you start whatsoever, sorry, I got problem with my eyes today. All right, wait for a while. Really sorry on that. Okay, the eyelashes or something like that inside my eyes. Okay, really sorry about it. All right, let us continue. All right, in the folder, you will see the answer templates. All right, what you need to do during this assessment is that you need to download first the file. You need to download the answer template. All right, why? Because if you open it up and you do it there, you got problems in uploading later on in terms of it. All right, most probably. All right, so to be on the safe side, when you start the test, you need to download first the answer templates, and then you need to write your answer. All right, based on the question given. All right, write your name, your matric cards number, your group in terms of that, and then answer the question in the answer template. Right. For this time around, since it is the assessment, all right, an assessment, I'm not allowing you to handwritten it. Right, you are not supposed to handwritten it whatsoever. You need to use my template. Due to that, you need to type. You need to type your answer. All right, accordingly in terms of that. And then after you have done typing and then writing your essay according to the question given, all right, what you need to do is that you need to rename the file. Rename again the file, all right, to your given name and also your matric cards number. All right, without the bin and benti, your only name. All right, your own name in terms of that, without bin and benti, and plus your matric cards number. Rename the file. After you have renamed the file, then upload it back into the folder. All right, upload it back into the folder. Right, whether you upload it as attachment or you upload it as or call file whatsoever, you turn it in, you submit, you click whatsoever. I'm not quite sure in terms of your interface how it will look like. All right, I'm not able to see student interface in terms of that. So I just in terms of will know that you upload when I receive it in my particular Google Classroom. Due to that, have a look on how to upload your assignment and whatnot. All right, make sure you rename the file into your name and also matric cards number. All right, you save it and then you upload, right? And I will check from here to see whether I received the file or not. Okay, so make sure you do that for your assessment. The one that is not here, please inform them about this. I believe somebody is not here, right? Inform them about this, and my dear, in terms of that, that will be in terms of the flow of your assessment. Okay. I'm not going to tell you which expository essay you are going to write, either cause effect, okay, talking about what call topical, whatnot in terms of it. So I'm not going to inform you in terms of it. It will be in terms of an essay. All right. So you got plus minus 2 hours for writing the essay. Right. That plus minus 2 hours means time for you to download the question, time of for you to upload the question when you have done. So it's actually 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we are giving student 2 hours. So when 1 hour and 30 minutes is up, I will warn you about it, and then I will inform you. You can start uploading your answers, whatsoever. Okay. Then I will notice if anybody in terms of submit it late and whatnot, right? Because the folder is having due date, due time in terms of it, right? And I will know, and I will state it submission late, late submission, whatsoever, something like that. All right. And one other thing, if you got problem during that particular assessment, you need to inform me immediately via the Telegram group. Do not PM me personally. I might ignore, right? Because during class hour, I might ignore personal message, whatsoever. So use the Telegram group that we have, and then inform me in terms of if you got problem with your devices, you got problem with the downloading the question, or you got problem uploading the question, the answers and whatnot, right? You have to inform me earlier. Then I will take note about it, and then maybe we can do something about it to speed up the process, whatsoever, and then to help you. Right, so make sure everybody clear in terms of the flow of the test that going to happen on Thursday, right? If you miss the test without any valid reason whatsoever, obviously no retest for you unless you got a valid reason. For example, positive COVID whatsoever, because I got one student already positive COVID in terms of that. All right, so I need to postpone the test and whatnot. Right, so in terms of that, you need to give me evidence about it, MCs and whatnot. Right, without that, I'm not going to give you a retest and whatnot. All right, so you need to be present during the assessment. And before you start, remember you have to sign your attendance in your future. You have to sign your attendance, right? So basically, that will be the flow. Talking about your assessment. All right, moving on towards your essay. Talking about your essay. All right, I'm giving comment whatsoever as a whole, and also I'm going to give pointers whatsoever in terms of that. Before I'm giving comment, some of the things that I wish to highlight. Number one, your essay writing, right, have a limitations of word, meaning 250 to 300 words. Remember, it's 300 words, 300 words, all right? So what we are going to do is that if you write exceeding or more than 300 words, the usual procedure will be I will only read until 300. I will only read until 300. All right. After that 300, I'm going to ignore, and then there will be no marks for it. Usually, it will be the conclusion part. So you will not have marks for conclusion. Right. That is the risk. If you are writing more than 300 words. All right. So you need to cater back in mind that your essay should be only 300 words. Right. Please do take note of this. 300 words mean after that 300s, there will be no marks for you. So if you, I read your essay and then you only, the 300 is only until the end of your body paragraph, meaning the conclusion part, you will not get marks. It will be considered as not having conclusion. Due to that, it is incomplete. Due to that, it will not be having marks. Because the word limitation. That is why the question will say write an essay on about 250 to 300 words. Okay, you have to bear in mind, it's part of the question, it's part of the task that you need to fulfill. So 300 word is important, right? Because when I check your essay, the practice that we have done previously, and then the one that I already marked and then returned it to you, all right, a lot of you exceeding 300 words actually. Right? So we got problem in terms of that. You got problem in terms of that. All right, not me, you. Right? So that is number one. Number two, remember we have been discussing this, and then we already in terms of give you notes whatsoever, talking about it whatsoever, and then the writing process and whatnot, the structure of an essay and whatnot. Right? I'm not quite sure whether you studied. That's the problem. Even though I already given it to you, but I'm not quite sure whether you study your notes, whatever that I give you in the Google Classroom, whatever we have discussed previously, because some of you still do not follow it. Do not follow the elements that you need to have for your essay. We are not talking about evaluative commentary. Yeah? We are talking about essay. Evaluative commentary is a different thing, different types of essay. But in terms of this is expository essay, and then I already given you the structure in terms of that. But still, some of you are not following it. All right. So what are the things that you need to have? Of course, the three things: introduction, the body paragraph, and the conclusion. You need to have that, right? You need to have that. And then under of this particular element, these three things, right? These three category, you need to have certain elements for you to be able to gain mark. For example, under introduction, I did mention you need to introduce the topic. You need to have a background introduction about the topic, about the issues or what you are going to write, and then what is the other thing? Thesis statement. You need to have thesis statement. Now, I did mention previously that your particular practice that I already returned to you, I'm going to look purposely on thesis statement. The problem is majority of you do not write thesis statement. A lot of you do not write thesis statement. A lot of you, your introduction just introducing, you do not have thesis statement. And a lot of you still do not know what thesis statement is all about, even though we have been going through this, and then I already given you the notes on it, but still I'm not quite sure what happened. All right, because majority of you have, maybe perhaps half of the class having problem with thesis statement. And then the thesis statement should be where? Thesis statement should be the last sentence of your introduction paragraph. And there are some starting the paragraph with thesis statement. You start the introduction paragraph with thesis statement. You need to introduce the topic first. Then the thesis statement will follow in terms of that. Right? And then there is also, I believe, one particular student stated the thesis statement and then writing the essay. Why do you do that? Thesis statement is part of introduction. It needs to be in the introduction, right? Because I don't know why. Actually, what do you understand? Because when I ask question, I say, do you have any question? Do you understand or not? Do you know how to do it? Whatsoever, everybody keep quiet. Everybody say no question and whatnot. So I'm assuming that you understand, but still, I believe you got confusion in terms of that. Still, you do not understand what to do. Right? Because why I'm stressing on thesis statement? Because without thesis statement, you will lose mark. There is mark for thesis statement. All right? In the introduction. So it must be available in your introduction paragraph. That is one. All right. After your introduction paragraph comes your body paragraph. Now, I did mention previously and then we did discuss, okay, because I still remember about it. All right. I did say that for 300 words of essay, we advise students to write only 4 paragraphs. We advise students to only write 4 paragraphs. All right, I'm not something like making it so strict, limit your ability to write whatsoever. I'm not doing that. But that is related to the question. The question said 300 words. Right, so if the question doesn't have any word limitation whatsoever, you can write as long as you like. I don't mind. I'm just going to read and I'm going to give mark. But then the question clearly stated 250, 300 words. So you have to follow whether you like it or not. So in terms of that, I did give you suggestions saying that you can write more or less 4 paragraphs, 1 introduction paragraph, 1 conclusion paragraph, and how many points or main idea body paragraph? Only 2. I said only 2. All right, you might ask me, okay, because students tend to do this, right? You might ask me, Miss Jun, if I'm writing 3, saya dah cakap 2, but still you are going to ask, if I'm writing 3 body paragraph, is it okay? All right, fine, I don't mind as well, but then you have to cater the number of words. If it's not exceeding 300 words, go ahead. Right? Because a lot of you still not following our suggestion. You are still in terms of doing it in your own way as if you are something like, right, you are doing it in your own way. Apa, tak apa. Boleh asalkan tulis. No, no, no. You have to follow because it's talking about assessment. And then we are giving suggestion because it's part of the assessment. And then unless the questions do not have word limitation whatsoever, then you can write as many words as you like. Right? Since it is part of the question and it is part of the assessment, we are giving suggestion, but students are not following. I was something like wonder, what is actually in your mind? You're not following. Because some of you give me 4 body paragraph, 4 points, whatsoever. 2 is enough because it's 300 words. Having the limitation, my dear. All right, having a limitation. That is why when come to test, a lot of students do not gain a lot of mark because they do not follow in terms of the structure. They do not follow what the element that should have in the essay. They do not follow in terms of the points. What in terms of that, how many points you should write and the word limitation. Due to that, you lose a lot of marks. Right? This is talking about assessment. In reality whatsoever, if you got any other essay after that or from other subject whatsoever, you have to look at the question. What does the question want? Is it having word limitation? If it is having word limitation, you have to follow because it's part of the task. It's part of the assessment. You cannot ignore it. All right, when students tend to make their own rules, that is the problem. You can, however, make your own rule if the thing is not having any limitation whatsoever. All right, the task given to you, something like, okay, write on blah, 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 only the topic, not giving you any word limitation or anything whatsoever, then you can write as many words as you like, as many paragraphs as you like. I don't mind. Right? It is the same for other subject as well. So you have to look at the task. Students tend to ignore this and I wonder why, because it's clearly stated, but still you are writing more than 300 words. And I wonder what is in your mind actually. What do you think about the question? Do you really see the 250, 300 words stated there, or you just tend to ignore? Okay. So in life, we do have rules. In reality, we do have rules whatsoever. So you have to follow. If you are breaking the rule, meaning you are not following the rule, you are making up your own rule. Definitely there will be a lot of problem later on. Of course, rule is being made by human being. We have give and take whatsoever, but we are looking at the situation. My dear, we are looking at the situation. For language, look at the task being given to you. What does the task want? And you have to follow. Right? But still, I don't know. You tend to make your own judgment, your own rule in terms of it when coming to the test. That is why a lot of students do not perform in their assessment. Okay. Two main points or body in terms of body paragraph will do, and then you elaborate for each of the point. What do you need to have? Of course, the topic sentence, the main idea. What is it? The point just now. And then the supporting details. Supporting details mean explanation of the points given. All right, your elaboration, your explanation, your example and whatnot in terms of that. And then this is optional. Optional, I'm telling you. All right, please do take note. You can also put concluding sentence because some of you, when I check your essay, there are some students that is very good having one particular sentence at the end of the first body paragraph, at the end of the point, each point whatsoever, one concluding sentence that in terms of conclude that particular body paragraph and that point. All right, some of you do it and I find it in terms of quite interesting as well, because I haven't told you about this, and then because it's optional, because students tend to write the body paragraph, they explain the body paragraph or they explain the point whatsoever with supporting details, and they end it with the supporting details as well. They do not have one particular concluding sentence that summarize or that conclude that particular point whatsoever. All right, fine, accepted, because concluding sentence for body paragraph is optional. Optional, huh? You put it, it's okay. You do not put it, it's okay as well, as long you end it nicely for that particular paragraph before you continue with another body paragraph and another points whatsoever. In terms of that. So you need to be able to elaborate, to explain, to have example and whatnot. And it must be related to your topic, that is one, and your sequence of your body paragraph, the sequence of your main idea, all right, must also follow the sequence of your thesis statement. Now, if you give me already the point in your thesis statement, you're already listing down the point in your thesis statement, you have to follow the first one, the second one. What is it? All right. If you give me a general thesis statement, because a few of you give me a general thesis statement, all right, not having any point because you haven't think of the point yet whatsoever. As you write, you will think of the point. All right, you give me a general thesis statement. I accept it as well as thesis statement, general thesis statement. Then it's up to you to organize the point for your body paragraph. Right? Now, there are students that list down the point in your thesis statement. You do not follow the sequence. That is number one. There is also student that list down the point in the thesis statement, but they are writing different thing in their body paragraph. Completely not related to the thesis statement. We got that problem as well. Right? So identify yourself in terms of that. I'm not going to tell everybody who you are whatsoever, because when I mark, I do not look at the names whatsoever. When I return it, I just return it. I'm not looking at a specific name or person whatsoever. That is my style, because I do not want any preference whatsoever later on. Right? Okay, now after your body paragraph comes conclusion. Now conclusion here is conclusion. Understand what is conclusion? Meaning the end of it. The end of it there. The end here means you cannot write on new points or ideas. What is actually conclusion? Conclusion will be your final remark. The end of it, and then your final remark about the issues, about the topic, whatsoever, about your main idea in terms of that. And then you are giving hope, wishes, whatsoever in the future, your expectation for the future. Right, your expectation towards certain people whatsoever, that is the conclusion. That's it. You cannot introduce or write in terms of another points whatsoever, explaining about a new points, main idea whatsoever. You cannot do that because it's not conclusion, meaning you are not ending it yet. Conclusion is the end. A lot of you still having problem in writing conclusion. I was something like, oh my goodness, they still do not know, they still do not understand what is conclusion all about. Because when I read it, you still in terms of telling me in terms of new point, new main idea, new suggestion, new ways whatsoever. That is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be your final remarks. What do you expect about the issues? What do you think about the issues and relation to the future? What your expectation towards the future regarding the issues, something like that. Your hope, your wishes, whatsoever. Right? And then for any given essay later on whatsoever, including in terms of your evaluative commentary, on your right side at the bottom at the end, please put in bracket the estimation number of word. Estimation number of word. To make things easier, since you are typing your work, you are typing your assessment, all right? If you're using Microsoft Word, you highlight your essay until the end, from A until Z in terms of that, your essay, and then you click word count. There is an icon in your Microsoft Word, sorry. There is an icon or button in your Microsoft Word that when you click, there will have a summary of the word count. How many paragraph, how many line, how many words. All right, just write that particular word. Now, if it is exceeding 300 words, you have to do something. You have to revise. You have to revise. Right? That is why the process of writing, will be in terms of that. Remember, the process of writing, you need to start with pre-writing first. After you pre-write, you brainstorm whatsoever, you organize your idea, and then you write your essay whatsoever. After you have done your essay, in terms of that, you have to editing, proofread, whereby editing whatsoever, revising whatsoever in terms of that. And then after that, after you have proofread, read all your the things in your essay, then you can only submit when you're satisfied with it. But a lot of you do not do it because I believe when I check, there's still spelling mistake. I do not know why. Still having spelling mistake. Meaning what? The things that come to my mind is that when you submit, when you do your work, you do not check back what you write. You do not, in terms of care, in terms of what you write, in terms of that, you just submit. When you do that, then we got problems. You got problems. Sorry, I'm not saying we. You got problems. Okay. So that will be in terms of the structure. And then we already, in terms of giving you this, the structure, in terms of that, the element that you should have in your essay whatsoever. But still, I do not know where your mind is, and then due to that, I'm not quite sure in terms of what is in your mind. And then when you write the result of it, the what call the product of it will be something like, my goodness, you are not following, not following in terms of what we have learned so far. I don't know whether it is my fault in terms of it's your fault, whether I'm not something like get through to you, whether you are not reading the notes, or whether in terms of you are here, all right, but then actually you are not here in terms of that, all right, you are joining the class, but actually you are not in terms of it. I'm not quite sure because I really unable to see everybody from here. Okay, so that's the problem with ODL, major problem actually. We cannot actually see that the student doing the work. We do not have the means whatsoever. Even if I say, please switch on your camera, everybody will not switch on the camera. Or something like this in terms of that. I'm talking to a screen that is only having my face, but the rest of you is not having any face whatsoever. So due to that, I'm not quite sure whether you are really in front of your device or you are joining in the Google Meet, but you are somewhere else, doing something else, not actually studying or not actually in front of the device and listening to my lecture. So we do not have the means for that because previously when I asked students to switch on the camera, half of it will not switch it on. Not ready, not ready, not wearing a veil whatsoever, not wearing in terms of any shirt for the man whatsoever in terms of that. So I was something like okay, but I'm not quite sure. And then I can only hear your voice when it is the end of the class. When I'm ending the class, I can hear, all right, thank you, Miss June, thank you, Miss June. Then I can hear your voice, but I will not be able to see your face. Only then I can hear your voice. When I say any question, all right, you will not ask me any question. That's the problem with the student. So I'm not really able to really know. All right, are you having problem with in terms of the course, the code, whatsoever, the subject, or are you not having any problem with it? So I'm not really quite sure because you do not inform me about it. I mean, you are not sharing about it in terms of that you just keep it to yourself. And then when come to a task, assignment, and whatnot, only then you are something like nervous whatsoever, and then only then you are trying to find me and whatnot. And then even though I already informed you earlier, you do not take note. Right? That's the normal student attitude, which is actually giving us headache, the lecture headache, because you tend to do it last minute. On the last minute, then you got problem. Earlier, you do not do it, and then you do not, in terms of even care about it. And then even though we already inform you what to do, you do not take note in terms of that. You miss classes, you joining in but do not participate in terms of it. So after that, you ask me, sorry to say, when previously I said there is no such thing as stupid question, but then in this sense, yes, stupid question, right? In terms of the rest already know, but you do not know. So what happened to you actually? Something, meaning you are not participating. We can detect from there in terms of that. You do not know what to do. Oh, Miss Jun, oral commentary is doing live. Bila pula buat live? I already informed you earlier in terms of that. So the one that is do not know about it, meaning you do not take note, you are not participating during that particular class. All right, it's not recording, Yes, it's not recording in terms of that. So that's the attitude of the student. So I wonder sometimes. All right, any question? This is the most difficult part. Any question? Anything to ask me? Anything to share? All right. So that is the essay structure. Essay structure, and I expect you to do that in your assessment. So I wish to help everybody, but if you do not help yourself, how am I supposed to help you? Right? That's very what we call deep meaning. I like to help everybody. I wish to help everybody, my student whatsoever. But the problem is if you do not help yourself, so how am I supposed to help you? Right? Understand that. If you do not help yourself, how am I supposed to help you? Right? You cannot expect me to help you 100%. Cannot be. Right? I can help you as much as I can help you in terms of that. As much as I know what is the problem. The problem is you do not share your problem. So how am I supposed to help? Okay? I have limitation as well. Right? I have limitation as well because I am also a human being in terms of that. Same as you. Right? I'm not all the all knowing, the perfect whatsoever in terms of that. Only God is that all knowing and perfect. All right. So you have to give and take in terms of it. You have to understand my situation as well. All right. Enough of that blabbering whatsoever. Okay, coming back to your work. I wish to share your work. All right. Before that, before I'm something like going to click your work, your assessment, your essay, the one that I already written it to you. All right. There are something that you need to take note. General things, before we look at the sample. Right. General thing that you need to take note of your work. Please do take note of this. Okay. When I give comment, some comment is very specific. Some comment I just give a general comment in terms of that when I return your essay, right? The first one for this particular class, a lot of you are doing ways to help disabled student in your campus. The question. A lot of you are doing this. I was something like quite shocked as well because the other two classes whatsoever so far that I have session with, a lot of them are doing ways to create social harmony in the community. They choose that particular question. But for this particular group, a lot of you are doing disabled student, ways to help disabled student in the campus. All right. So very interesting for me. Right, you are something like not normal like my two other groups whereby they are choosing in terms of the social, how to create social harmony. All right, fine, that is one. All right, the other thing that I notice is that, all right, compared to other groups, I'm something like I'm not like to compare, but since we are teaching, I'm teaching the same code, then I will take examples comparison a bit. Right, really sorry about it. All right. Now, when I check your particular essay, I find that there is some element of plagiarism. Some of you did plagiarize. I do not know whether you take it from internet whatsoever, because some of you, when you write, there are some points whatsoever similar to my other two classes. My other 2 classes is having a lot of plagiarism, element of plagiarism in terms of that. Right? Sorry to say about this. All right. But then your class, there is some. I noticed there is some. Not a lot, not most of the class whatsoever. Both of my classes previously, most of them plagiarize. Really sorry. Because when I read, it is having the same sentences, the same wording whatsoever. That is why I know it is plagiarism. 2 different classes. Huh? But yours, when I check, there is some, ada beberapa. But not half of the class in terms of that. Somebody, someone in terms of that. I can see that in terms of it, all right? Have the elements of plagiarism because of the wording a bit. Having the same word, the same point, whatsoever. Right? Okay, I'm not something like going to disclose who you are whatsoever. Since I did mention when I mark, I didn't notice the name whatsoever. I didn't take note in terms of your name whatsoever. Due to that, I do not know who. I cannot say, but there are in terms of student that is having the plagiarism element. Right. Now, bear in mind, okay, in your assessment, in your work, in your task, take home task, whatsoever, any plagiarism, if it is detected, 0 marks. It is 0 marks. It is more than how many percent? It is 0 marks. We cannot give marks to student. All right. Due to that, any material online, for example, if you find that is related to your particular assignment, the topic is related to your particular essay and whatnot, you shouldn't take it. You shouldn't cut and paste whatsoever because it's not your work. And then we can detect element of plagiarism, of course. Since this is a practice, I just tend to ignore for my 2 other classes and also in terms of yours. I just mentioned in terms of that. So they are not going to do it again. I'm just giving warning because I'm not something like going to put it in, turn it in the software to detect plagiarism, whatnot, because it's just merely a practice. Not like your assessment. Assessment, we are being advised to put it in, turn it in, to check for plagiarism because it's assessment marks. Huh? All right, due to that, I'm telling you earlier, all right, so any elements of plagiarism is 0, right? So I don't think that during the test you are able to check your internet, Google up the question whatsoever. If you are able to do so, and then you write, and then it will be very dangerous for you if you cut and paste whatsoever. Of course, there's abundance of materials in the internet, and I believe the 2 practices that I give you, because it's coming from previous semesters whatsoever, students are uploading it online. You can find it. That is why your point is more or less the same. I find it quite funny. When I read the same sentence, it's the same sentences, it's the same wording. All right? And your main idea topic sentence more or less the same. I find it very funny. How is my student do this? It is a practice, of course. I'm supposed to be angry, but I'm not because it's a practice. But do not do this in your assessment. Then you will be having problem if you are doing it. All right, 0 marks out of 20. Can you imagine? All right, you are going to repeat the paper. You are going to repeat the code, definitely. Right? So do not do this. And then I was something like wonder in terms of what is actually in your mind. Why do you tend to take other people's works and make it your own? Why do you tend to cut and paste the work? Why do you tend to cut and paste the point whatsoever? Can you come up with your own point, your own sentences and whatnot? Can you not able to brainstorm for ideas in terms of that, ways to help disabled student in the campus? Can you not able to think it of yourself? All right, the point and the explanation, the elaboration and whatnot, ways to create social harmony in the community. Can you not think of it yourself in terms of that? Because there's a lot of ways to help disabled student. There's a lot of ways. All right. And then the 2 question actually looking at you. What can you do? I'm sorry. The simplest way is that what can you do to help disabled student? So it can come from you, your effort. What can you do? to help disabled students in the campus. All right, it can also come from the administration, the university. What can the university do? What can the administration do to help a disabled student in the campus? All right, it can also come from the staff. The staff here means the lecturers whatsoever. What can the lecturer do? What can the lecturer do to help disabled student in the campus? So there's a lot of point actually. Right? And then I just asked for two. 2 points. Right? And then why do you need to take it from internet and plagiarize? Why? That is my question. Because when you plagiarize, definitely it will not be your own work and definitely you will learn nothing. Learning is making mistake. Huh? That is learning. Part of learning, part and parcel of learning is that making mistake. When you make mistake, you learn from it. That is learning is all about. If you all do not make any mistake whatsoever, meaning you are a genius, you do not need to come to class anymore. You already know everything. All right? In terms of that. And then you are not learning because you already know in terms of that. You do not make mistake whatsoever. No. People make mistake and people learn from it. Because we are human beings. How do we learn and improve ourselves? By looking at the mistake that we have done. Oh, tak boleh buat ni. Kenapa tak boleh buat? Sebab gini, gini, gini whatsoever. Because you learn from it to improve yourself and whatnot. That is learning is all about. If you do not make any mistake, meaning you are pure genius whatsoever, all right, there are some rare cases whereby students are like that. All right, fine. I don't mind, okay? Maybe because you are born genius, maybe you are because you are something like very hardworking, diligent whatsoever, you do not make any mistake. All right, that is good. I do not deny that. We do have students like that. All right, we do have students like that. So I'm not something like being pessimistic or biased whatsoever, but then still, right? I'm something like wonder as well. Why you tend to take other person work as your own? In academic, when you do that, there will be a lot of consequences. Academically, talking about academic. Right? Later on when you are working, then you got problem with your position, your company and whatnot. Academically, in terms of it, for diploma, I don't think it's quite in terms of strict. But when you go to degree, PhD, whatsoever, it's quite strict. Especially in PhD, you might kick out of the campus, kick out of the faculty, kick out of the course. Dibuang due to plagiarism. That is how serious plagiarism is. Okay. All right, that is one element I wish to talk about. All right, another thing is that this is general things that I wish to inform. Choices of word. Choices of word. Some of you have, I don't know, where do you take this word? Did you find it in the dictionary? All right, did you actually know the meaning of the word? I'm not quite sure. Because if you plagiarize, you take it, of course, all right, you do not understand what the word means in terms of that. If you take it from the dictionary, all right, fine. But then remember, not all word from dictionary is suitable for the sentence because you need to look at what you are trying to explain, the meaning. Remember, because word in the dictionary have a lot of meaning. So that, and then it is based on how you use it. Right? Certain word, okay, is not actually suitable for certain sentences, certain situation, or certain explanation in terms of that. If you wish to explain about this word, so certain word is not suitable, even though the meaning is okay, betul lah meaning dia. But then the word itself is not suitable for that particular situation, sentences, and whatnot. Right? Because I found a lot of high level word whereby when I look at it, when I read it, you get it confused and then the sentences become wrong. The meaning of the sentences is wrong. And then one other thing is that I'm not quite sure that is your level when you use the word. All right. For your particular class, I haven't noted anything, but then for my other two classes, all right, when they write, I found, for example, words like harmonization. Why you use that word? right? The question said social harmony. Why do you use harmonization? What does harmonization related to social harmony? It's not related actually, in a sense, because harmonization means something else, right? And then what else? Vulnerable. All right, vulnerable. They use it when they explain about the question and way to create social harmony in the community. All right, this is not your group, huh? Because I haven't noted in terms of any high level word. But then I don't remember. There are a few of you are using very high level word, but I didn't jot down in terms of that. Okay, I'm really sorry. All right, after this we look who's doing that. Okay, but then in terms of my other two classes use the word vulnerable. Actually, they wish to say humble. Be humble. Humble. All right, but then they use the word vulnerable. Vulnerable is not suitable when you are trying to explain in terms of being humble, whatever. I believe the word supposed to be being humble. Humble. All right, and then you use vulnerable. Vulnerable here means you are prone to attack. Mudah untuk diserang. Tiada pertahanan. Sangat-sangat lemah. That is vulnerable. Means. All right. Some of you are using this. Actually, I believe when I read the sentence, I believe humble is the suitable word. All right. What else? All right. You wish to say a lot, many, in terms of that, and then suddenly you use this word, plethora. Plethora. And I was something like, wow, when I read the other two classes. Huh? That is why I say they have element of plagiarism, because both of my classes, there are some students are using this word. All right. And I find it, oh my goodness, they do not do it by themselves. All right. Not yours, not your classes. When I read, I haven't seen this word. Right. That is the good thing about it. Okay. But there are some elements of plagiarism. Someone are doing it. All right. Plethora here means a lot. Yes. But then we never use it. We say plenty, many, bountiful in terms of that, a lot, okay? But we never use plethora. Plethora is very high level. You will not see it in any of part 3 student essay. Unless, this is based on my experience. I've been teaching this code for quite some time. Unless you are something like very good in English. Very good in terms of it. And then we cannot deny, I cannot deny it, because there are some students that is very flawless. When I read the essay, wow, the essay is very good. All right. And then how do I know that the person is doing by themselves? By your speaking test, when you speak, when you share your ideas, whatsoever, I know you are good. The level, whatsoever, in terms of it. But plethora, my goodness. Okay. I never seen it in any of my student essay. Even my degree student doesn't use plethora. All right. So I was something like, where did you get this word? Definitely you get it online. All right. Because some of my students, both of the group, is having this word, using this word. And I was something like, when I mark, I find it funny. Because you actually, do you understand what you write? Huh? That's the problem. When I ask you, if I asking you, all right, maybe perhaps one day, whatever, all right, can you explain what you write? Are you able to explain? If you are unable to explain, meaning you do not understand what you write. So your sentences, whatsoever. Can you imagine that? Do you understand the use of vulnerable, the use of harmonization? Do you understand what it means? All right, in the sentence, whatsoever. Ask yourself that question. When you when you write, this is very simple one. When you write a sentence trying to explain about something, all right, you look at your sentence and then you ask yourself, do I understand what it means? Right? Do I understand what it means? What does it mean? What I'm trying to say, what is it? And then when you read it, do you understand? All right, if you understand, then fine. Meaning, okay, no problem. Maybe I do not understand in terms of that. Right? But then if you write and then you read it again and then you do not understand what you are trying to say, meaning there is something wrong somewhere, dear. You have to revise, you have to proofread. That is the way we write. That is the way we write an essay. That is the way we learn. If you do not understand what you say, if you do not understand what you write, then how am I supposed to, in terms of how do you supposed to make people understand as well? How? Kamu sendiri tak faham, kamu beritahu orang, macam mana orang lain nak faham? Can you imagine that? This is talking about language. Huh? So do not assume that you alone need to understand. Other people need to understand as well what you are trying to say, what you are trying to write. Because in terms of what you're trying to say, you are saying it to other people. If you're talking about writing, I am checking your writing. If I do not understand, so how am I supposed to give marks? Problem for me. I was something like thinking very hard. Apalah, what is actually this student trying to say? I was something like having headache, in terms of my part. And then that is why sometimes I laugh out loud to release my stress, right? Because when I read, what is actually this student trying to say? If I do not even understand it, so how am I supposed to give mark? If I do not understand, imagine, do you understand what you write? Are you able in terms of to answer me in terms of that? Do you understand what you write? That is the thing. When you write something, make sure you yourself first need to be able to understand. If you write something you do not understand, so imagine other people will not understand as well. The same way in terms of speaking, the same way in terms of learning, my dear. All right, that is learning. Oh, Miss Jun say I need to read. Okay, when you read, okay, and then you ask question, what I wish to say. Oh, this one. Okay, is it really in terms of what I wish to say? Is it really in terms of the thing? All right, do I understand the sentence? And then when you read, I don't know, I got confused. I don't understand why I write harm. So there's something wrong somewhere. You need to revise. You need to do something. Right, dear? Do not just in terms of, tak apalah, biar Miss Jun yang fikir. Please help me as well, right? Saya perah kepala saya fikir, apa sebenarnya? I was something like putting myself in your shoes when I read your essay and then trying to understand what are you trying to say. And then at long last in terms of I was something like having the headache. You are something like very relaxed. It's okay, already given and already submitted to Miss June. My goodness, please help me as well, right? So you read first. Do you understand what you're trying to say? If you got in terms of, I don't understand. Actually, what I'm trying to say, then do something. Revise your sentences. Make it simple in terms of that. Make sure that you understand. Okay, that is another thing. All right, next. Sentence structure. Of course, we do have problem a lot with this, all right? What I found is some of you tend to write run-on sentence. All right, have a look at my notes previously about sentence structure. What is run-on? All right, a lot of you tend to write very long, assuming that it is a complex sentence. It's not a complex sentence, it's run-on. What is run-on? Run-on means you can break up the sentence into two or three more sentences. Right? Because you got a lot of things, writing, point, ideas, whatsoever in just one sentence. Cannot be. Saya baca senafas pun tak lengkap in terms of that. Tak cukup nafas saya in terms of it. So run on will be very lengthy whatsoever, and it was something like can be break into two or three more sentences. All right, another one is hanging. You tend to have hanging sentences. All right, we look after this, the sample whatsoever, what I mean by hanging whatsoever. We try to click, and I'm going to click and display in not any random order, whatsoever, right? So I'm just clicking. Do not have any particular or order whatsoever in terms of that. If you got in terms of being chosen by me whatsoever, please bear with me in terms of that and then learn from it. Okay, do not feel embarrassed whatsoever, frustrated, very angry with Miss June and whatnot. After this, I'm showing you. All right, that is talking about sentence structure. The other thing is when you use Malay words. All right, this is the thing. There is a rules when you use Malay word. Now, if that Malay word is being accepted by worldwide, it's okay. All right. For example, what? Durian. Durian is accepted worldwide. A Malay word, durian, because there is no such thing as thorny fruit whatsoever. Do not make up your own words. Students tend to do that. Durian, thorny fruit. Durian, thorny fruit. I find it very funny. All right, no. Durian is accepted by people around the world. All right, even Korean call it as durian whatsoever. Chinese call it as lulian. The pronunciation is a bit different, but it's still durian. All right, so that particular word, all right, fine. I don't mind. Rambutan, example. Do not create it as hairy fruit whatsoever. There is no such thing as rambutan, hairy fruit. All right, when you do that, I will, if you are here, I'm going to knock your head. All right, so do not create your own word in terms of it. So accepted worldwide, for example, orang utan. Orang utan, everybody call it as orang utan. There's no other word for it. So accepted. But if it is not the word that is not accepted worldwide, people do not know it, other people, whatsoever other country do not know it. All right, you have to put single inverted comma. You know what is single inverted comma? Koma atas. Tapi single. Bukan double lah. Single. Kalau double lain. It is only single. Single inverted comma, right? On the left side, on the right side, on the upper side in terms of that. All right. Upper left and right side. For the word that is in Malay. Whereby you do not have any other word that is suitable in English. In terms of that. All right. You use it. Example, most probably a lot of it will be gotong royong. Example. Right, so you have to put it in single inverted comma. That is the rule. Malay words, Not only for Malay word, foreign word as well. Not English word, foreign word. For example, French, that we are using that word, but there is no equivalent in English. Example, all right, you have to put it in single inverted comma. That is the way you write. Okay. What else? All right. Sentences. Talking about sentences again. Do not write your sentences and begin your sentences with the word but, B-U-T, or the word because. There is no, because and but cannot start sentences. Bear in mind. You cannot start sentences with because. Kerana, tiba-tiba noktah, kerana, cannot. Tiba-tiba noktah, tetapi, tapi, cannot, right? So it is something like not suitable to start sentences with because or the word but. And there are some other words as well. So please look up in terms of that. Right, be careful with that. Okay. And then major thing, of course, no thesis statement. In your work, no thesis statement. You misplace your thesis statement, you put it in your body paragraph, you misplace it, you write it at the beginning of the sentence, introduction paragraph or something like that. All right, no thesis statement. All right, and then the main idea, the topic sentence more or less the same. For example, looking at in terms of ways to create social harmony in the community. All right, you are writing it in terms of participating in social event. That is one of your point. And then the next point is talking about connecting with your neighbors and friends. Or actually, it's quite similar, right? Participating in social event, when you participating, you get connected with your neighbors, your other people, whatsoever. And then the second point is connecting with friends and neighbors. Okay, it's the same actually point. More or less the same. Right? When you explain it in terms of that. So be careful, right, with that such points. What else? No short form when you write an essay. An essay is a formal thing, semi-formal or formal thing. Please do not write any contradiction or abbreviation. What does it mean? It means that short form. For example, I am, you write I apostrophe M. No. In essay, you need to write I am, E-M. You need to write it in full. For example, I will. You write it as I apostrophe L-L. Cannot. You need to write I, W-I-L-L, will. In essay, you need to write full word, full word. No short form, no abbreviation, no contradiction in terms of that. All right. Contraction. Contraction, is it contraction or contraction? Contraction. All right. There's no short form in terms of it. So you cannot write it. For example, doesn't, didn't, don't in terms of that. You cannot write it. You need to write it as full. Do not, does not, did not. All right. Unless, this is an exception. Unless you are writing it as a dialogue. If it is a dialogue, when you write it, it's a part of dialogue. Dialogue, you can use short form. Dialogue, you can use short form. And essay, you cannot use short form. Please do take note of that. All right, you cannot use short form in an essay. You need to write it in full. Right. What else? I remember in terms of that. I think that's it as far as I remember. No short form, Malay words, TS, okay, structure, choice of word, same element of plagiarism in terms of that. Okay, sentence structure, grammar, whatever. All right, one other thing. All right, the word to, TO. TO, TO2 is infinity. Infinity, all right, the rule is any verb after that, any words after that must be base form. Base form. Cannot have ing, cannot have ed, whatsoever. It must be base form. All right. So that sort of thing. All right. What else? That's it. All right. Let us have a look at your work. So again, I'm going to click. As I click in terms of that, no particular order whatsoever. It is a random order in terms of it. So if you got chosen in terms of it, just take it as a learning session in terms of it, and then do not take it to your heart whatsoever, and then try to improve yourself. Right, do not get frustrated. So, alah, Miss Dunia choose pilih yang saya punya pula in terms of that. And then segan lah, malu lah buat. So, no. It's part of learning. It's part of learning. All right. And then you need to try to improve yourself in terms of it. So, I'm not something like having any preference whatsoever. Okay. All right. Wait, I need to see you as well. Okay. Can I do something like this? Okay, then I can see you. And then, okay, so we got 20 students in this particular group, okay? And then we are looking at your, this is my interface, if you see, right? Yes. Somebody is missing, I believe. Somebody is not, what we call, if you can see the view whatsoever, somebody is missing. All right, out of 21 is assigned but do not submit. All right, if you are not able to see this, inform me. All right, because I don't know, yesterday when I was something like presenting, half of the way, and then somebody will say, Miss June, we are unable to see the samples. All right, something. Right, so if you are unable to see it, please do inform me so that I will do something about it. All right, so let us start. I'm clicking, just clicking. Please do not mind in terms of it. All right, so I already written, you already got the marks whatsoever, and then in your particular folder, you can see this. One is the original one is the edited one. The edited one is the one that is having comment. Having comment and whatnot, all right? In terms of post the comment as well, and then I was something like, in terms of, are you able to see this? Or you're not able to see? It's not. You can see in terms of this, that's the thing. Why are you not able to see it? Hmm. Okay. I can see the problem. All right. I didn't notice there is an icon on the top. Share this tab, whatever. Sorry. All right. So ways to help disabled student. All right. Only your group so far is doing. A lot of you are doing this question. Right. So the easiest way to tackle is that, remember when we did it previously, all right, we break it into part one. Try to identify the type of expository essay. All right. In terms of that, oh, am I? Oh my goodness. Why am I clicking that? Sorry, yeah. All right, technologies. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's a bane towards our life, whatsoever. A lot of this technology, whatnot. All right, and then tangan besar. All right, benda kecil, whatsoever. Talking about that. Sorry, yeah. All right. What do I see in terms of that? All right. A lot of you, this particular group are using this particular essay. Now, the way to tackle this essay is actually very simple, right? As mentioned previously, and then we have done it once, I think, when you are trying to do an outline, whereby I ask you to identify the types of expository essay. All right. What is the type? Right, and identify it first. Is it topical? Is it cause a problem? Is it cause and solution? Sorry, effects. All right, the effects and something, problem and solution, cause and effect. All right, in terms of that. All right, that is the only three types of expository essay, and usually it's topical, will be coming out usually. All right, so when you deal with it, all right, identify the scope and identify the focus. All right, the focus will be here, ways to help disabled student. That is the focus. The scope here is in the campus. All right, you are not looking at somewhere else, you're looking at in the campus. How are you going to help student in the campus, the disabled student in the campus? That is in terms of the way you tackle it. And then when you are able to identify that, the scope, and also in terms of the focus, all right, next, okay, try to look it at different way. For example, in terms of this, you can look it in terms of yourself. So your 2 points, it can be from yourself. As another student that is a normal student, how can you help? Give me 2 points. Elaborate on it. 2 points. All right. You can also looking at it as administration, pentadbiran, university themselves. How does the university going to help? Give 2 points. All right. You can also mix match. Mix match here means 1 point coming from you, one come from university. Terms of that. All right. What else? You can say a point coming from the staff. What can the staff do to help disabled student? Terms of that. The most easiest way is look at you first. All right. Do not think very difficult whatsoever. Look at you. How can you help? All right. Maybe perhaps one of the way is creating a study group with them. Study group. Can they help? All right. Then you have to explain why create study group. How does study group help this disabled student? All right. What else can you say in terms of that? If it is coming from you, all right. Perhaps you can say, help them with movement. All right. Some of these disabled students have problem with movement, pergerakan, mobility, whatsoever. You can help them with movement, mobility, or in terms of help them at the college or in the classroom, how to go to class, whatsoever. So explain on that. All right, what else you can say? All right, if it is from university, you can say in terms of facilities, upgrade the facilities towards OKU facilities. make it available to disabled student. That is university ways to help. All right, so there's a lot. All right, in terms of this, okay, when I read this particular essay, all right, I find it, all right, the tick one is okay, my dear. The one that I tick whatsoever, meaning okay, fine, accepted. Right. So what the problem here is, one, you introduce the topic. All right, Miss June, this is introduction, of course. And then your introduction, all right, is very uh thorough and detailed for this student, very thorough and details, whereby for 300 words is not necessary. That's why I put it there. Your intro is too long with irrelevant details. You do not need to put in terms of very specific details whatsoever, because you are introducing the topic. All right, for example, public universities whatsoever, how many are they having? Okay, you inclusive policy whatsoever. I do not need to know that. You just need to tell it in a general sense. All right. And then when you do something like this, okay, if there is no limitation of word, as I mentioned previously, fine, accepted. Saya terima. I'm not saying that this particular introduction is wrong. No, I'm not saying that. It's just that you have to cater the number of words just now. And then there's a lot of irrelevant things, irrelevant details, whereby for your introduction, this type of introduction, an essay, all right, for your assessment, you are not supposed to be too specific and too detailed for your introduction. The main focus is you introduce the topic, the background, the relevant details whatsoever in terms of that, who is what is can be considered as disabled student in terms of that. All right, and then maybe you can give examples of disability in terms of it, and then in terms of that, you can say in terms of they might have they wish to learn as same as normal student whatsoever, and thesis statement. Here you do not have thesis statement. That's why I put a bracket there. I'm not saying it's wrong, but then it is too long and then irrelevant for your task. That's the word, irrelevant for your task. All right. And then in terms of it, okay, some of the things. All right. When I read, so to prevent fight from happen, what do you mean? What is fight? What is it fight? Is it fighting? And then why is it have to have fighting whatsoever in the campus? And then fighting here, and then you are saying about facilities such as the elevator. You are fighting to be in the elevator? It is something like weird. It's not fighting, right? Choices of word. And then student between the healthy and disabled student do not fight and cause adverse effect that can occur. I was something like lose somewhere. Saya jadi, I was something like do not understand what you're trying to say. That's one. All right. What do you trying to say? I believe you are trying to say not fighting per se. You're talking about trying to everybody are trying to use that particular facilities. For example, elevators. So you might say separate it. Elevators for OKU, elevators for normal student. Right? Something like that. In a sense, you are trying to say jangan berebut. Something like that, right? You're trying to see that. And then in terms of it, when you are using the word fight, and then when you are writing it, I was something like cannot relate in terms of that. It was something, why is it so negative? Why do you need to fight with you student whatsoever? The word fight here, right? And then the university can also set up association. What do you mean by association? All right, association ni besar. Maybe you can say club. OKU society, club society, what association will be something like a bit big. I understand you wish to say something like a club whatsoever, but then it's not suitable here, right? And then I when I blank here something like that, you can stop there, so that they are more comfortable in doing various things. Do not underestimate their abilities, because this will cause them to look down on themselves. That's it. Tak perlu dah yang lain tu. Because when you write the rest, it was something like becoming different meaning. All right, and then here, pretty much no one gave up in their life. What do you mean? There's something wrong somewhere here. The conjunction or the in terms of what call uh, the word here, something pretty much no one gave up on their life. Meaning what? They tend to kill themselves. Is that what you mean? Right? When I read what something means towards that. All right. So choices of word needs improvement. Notices, I put it there, whatever. All right. And then really sorry about my handwriting, like a doctor, like a child, whatever, because I'm writing it on my screen. All right. So I'm using pen, that pen, whatever. All right. So when I mark it online, all right, I'm writing it on my screen, desktop screen. So because my desktop screen is touch screen, okay. So I'm not very used with the pen, right? So I need more practice whatsoever to make my handwriting better, because when I'm using pen, something come out like this, right? So really sorry about that. If my handwriting is something like doctor's handwriting whatsoever, I really hope that you are able to read it, right? When I'm using pen, dia, I don't know, dia jadi macam call ketar. I find it very funny. Or not writing it in the book, paper, whatsoever. It's different using this particular pen. Alright, when I'm writing it in the screen and then it come out like something like this. So I was something like, accept sajalah. In terms of that, I hope you are able to read it. Alright, what else? Eh? Alright, wait. I got kicked, not kicked out. I closed the unnecessary tab. Ayo. So I have to go back. Look at the classwork and then the date. Resi writing too. All right. Let us look at siapa. Okay. All right. I'm opening and then you just wait for it. Lambat juga internet kita. Okay. Let us have a look. All right. Ways to create social harmony in the community. All right. One here. All right. As I said, TS should be at the last sentence of introduction paragraph and you put it in the middle. It's wrong, right? It's wrong. That's why I put question mark and whatnot. All right. Beside that, the other way is with respect, love, and forgiveness. All right. This is a hanging sentence. I put it there because you need to have in terms of explanation, in terms of what is this? What is this? Right? Maybe you can say beside that, or you can say the first ways to create social harmony is with respect, love, and forgiveness. Something like that. Because if you put like that, beside that, there are other ways with respect, love, and forgiveness. What is that? Apa dia? Respect, love, and forgiveness. For what? So you need to explain. All right. Another way to create social harmony in the community is with respect, love, and forgiveness. Or the first way. In terms of it. And then you say every people. All right. This is redundant. People dah semua orang. You letak every. Every people. Everybody. Every people. Usually you just use people. People must learn to respect. Not every people. Because when say people already means everyone. Every people is redundant. All right, and then to knowing, to knowing cannot be. To know, and then it is. All right, to overcoming, to overcome. Okay, and then yes, one other thing you have to take note when you use number in writing, 1 to 10, 1 to 10 must be in terms of right, must be written. ONETWOTHREE until 10, TEN. After 10, then you can use number. In an essay, 11, 1, 1, 12, 1, 2, 13, 1, 3, terms of that. All right, only 1 to 10 in an essay, you have to write it as whole. ONE, 1, TEN, 10. But after 10, 11, 12, and whatnot after that, all right, you can use numbering. All right, you can use decimal. You can use that is decimal. All right, and then I put it there, conclude, not explain new point. You already said here lastly, but then you are explaining about new point. Overcoming differences and with the community. You have to be flexible, all right? You are explaining new things, right? In terms of it, so cannot be. Cannot be, right? So be careful with that. All right, what else? Who else? I'm going to click. Oh, I stopped presenting. My goodness. Yes? Question. Hmm. You have? Hmm? TC statement. All right. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, I know what you mean. Meaning, you wish to, in terms of, look at in terms of the TC statement. Okay, and then if the paragraph is not having one, all right, how is the TC statement should be in terms of, okay, fine. Right, we'll see. Okay, let us look at this example. Is it having TC statement? All right. Okay, ways to create social harmony. All right, important element in leading, not to lead. In leading a prosper life. All right. This is having TC statement. When I put TS not having question mark, this is a TC statement but need some revising because having question mark here. All right. Thus, okay, fine. You start with thus. Thus, there are some measures that local can take to create stronger social harmony, such as keeping a good relationship with neighbors, join in any communal works, and being proactive in any community event. So this is a TC statement. This is your point. It's just that when I sit here, some measures that the local can take. Alright, what do you mean local? Kita memang dah local kan? You're talking about social harmony in the community and then we are talking about we, kita. So why do you need to put local there? Right? Thus, there are some measures that can be taken, right, to create stronger social harmony, such as keeping a good relationship with neighbors, that is one, join in any communal works, that is two, and being proactive in any community event, that is three. This is statement quite good. It's just that need to revise a bit. Right, so this is TC statement and then you need to follow the order. All right, so this is your introduction, having the introduction and the TC statement. All right, accepted. Next, okay, this is the body paragraph. So the first thing that you say here just now is keeping a good relationship with neighbors. So you have to follow it here. The first step is to keep a good relationship with neighbors. All right, that is what I tick there. This is your main idea, topic sentence. All right, and then you explain. Right, I put a lot of tick whatsoever and then I put question mark there. It is recommended to say hello to the neighbors. All right, it is something like not suitable to say that. Right, what you can say? It is recommended to get to know your neighbors. All right, to exchange pleasantries. All right, somebody is using the word pleasantries. Right, that is good. Pleasantries. bertukar-tukar ni lah, cakap, whatever. Pleasantries mean say hello lah, rather than you say to say hello to the neighbors. Alright, I put in a column whatsoever in terms of that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it was something like weird a bit when you say that. Right, for example, when moving to a new neighbor, it is recommended to say hello to the neighbors. Is it to say hello? You are not saying just hello, right? You are getting to know your neighbors, or maybe exchange pleasantries. Try to find the word. Plea Santries, pleasantries. Right? Okay, I tick there, quite interesting. All right, the explanation. Lastly, being proactive, whatever, you have that. Okay, and then the only problem is I state that, is it more than 300 words? Try to find out. Sentence structure needs some improvement. I put it there because even though I take, there are some grammatical mistake, sentence structure mistake, whereby it's not affecting too much. So that's why I was something like ticking whatever. I'm not something like going to correct, make amendment or correcting everything. So basically, this is nice. Okay. All right. What else? Who else? Who wish to be in terms of volunteer? Yesterday, I have a lot of volunteer whatsoever. Siapa? Arif. Where are you? All right. Okay, let me load it. Wait, internet is buffering whatsoever. Oh, okay. All right. Now, a harmony social community, you got it up in terms of miss up. All right. So a harmony social community is not that. When you see that, it's different thing. All right. That is why I put it there, a social harmony community. That is the right word. Why do you get it wrong in terms of it? Because social harmony is supposed to be social in front, harmony at the back, already in the sentence, in the topic. All right. And then uh, um, um, the integrity, all right, of the relationship between the community will build the social harmony in many ways whatsoever. All right. So in a way, it's not a thesis statement. It's not a thesis statement. The integrity of the relationship between the community will build the social harmony in many ways. You are talking about the integrity. You are not talking about social harmony in the community. You are talking about the integrity of the relationship in the community will build the, in terms of that. So basically, is you got it mixed up. You can say in terms of social harmony in the community can be built by the integrity of the relationship between the people. That is the point. Ayat kamu ni somehow something like passive form, right? So in terms of, all right. Firstly, by helping between community, all right. Community is the scope dia. Community is the scope. Alright, so we are not helping between community, meaning kita bukan cakap pasal community dan community lain. Tidak, kita cakap pasal orang dalam community tu. So satu je community ni, masyarakat in terms of that. And then community can be in terms of, it can be a neighborhood. Satu kejiranan. It can be a town. It can be a small town. It can be a village. Alright, when we see that, it is just a community. Mana community lah. Kita saling kenal whatsoever in terms of that. So, when you say helping between community, alright, meaning ada orang lain pula. Maknanya bandar dengan bandar. Kejiranan dengan kejiranan. So, it is not the scope of the question. So, there, you need to say firstly by helping between people. Or firstly by helping people in the community. Then it's correct. Right? So I put it there, sentence are confusing. This particular paragraph, a bit confusing. The best way to gain trust is to show those around that you care by offering help when needed. Help without any expectation about the repayments or the trust. Okay, something missing somewhere within the sentences. For example, one can visit a neighbor who is sick while bring them food and take care of their house chore. When this situation happen, other will visit the sick one and to give. Okay, dia jadi macam, thus the relation between community becomes stronger and better. Not between community, the relationship between the people in the community becomes strong and better. So sentences here, there are some missing word whatsoever, and making it a bit hanging. That's why I said sentences a bit confusing, right? But then next, participation in community event may contribute to create a social harmony in the community. Okay, ini redundant sebenarnya. Participation in event, participation in any event. Alright. May, sebab kamu kita dah tahu skop dia memang dalam community, may contribute to create social harmony in the community. So tak payah dua-dua community, redundant. But then I accept in terms of that because I understand. Alright, events such as neighborhood cleaning, sport days or religious event often being held by the community. Alright, this is hanging. This is hanging. Ini senarai event dia, tapi sebenarnya apa kaitan dengan ayat sebelum tu? So you need to make some relationship between that. So how are you going to improve this? All right. Okay. You said participation in community event or participation in any events or event may contribute to create social harmony in the community. All right. The event, or you can put the in front. All right. Any event, for example, you can say start with that. Neighborhood cleaning, sport days, or religious event often being held by the community will help people. Dia mesti ada sesuatu kat sini. Sebab when you say here, this is example, but then apa kaitan dengan ayat sebelumnya? Right? And then how are you going to connect it with in terms of social harmony, in terms of that? All right? Or you can say event such as neighborhood cleaning, blah, 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 betul dah? Alright, kena sambung kat sini. Help by the community, so what? So what? Help by the community can help people to get to know each other and thus creating social harmony, something like that. Meaning, this sentence is hanging somewhere, somewhat. Alright? And then to conclude, a social harmony cannot build in a blink, not built, exist. Bukan dibina, wujud. Right? Social harmony cannot exist in blink of an eye. If you use the word built here, because talking about social harmony, macam mana kita nak bina benda tu? Something like, because it's not a thing, it's not like building whatsoever. Right? So the word choice there, right? And then bond between people is always possible. However, with a strong bond between people, it is always possible. Apa? Ini pun terhanging ni. Possible to do what? Terms of that. That's why I said sentence structure, grammar needs improvement. I write it there. All right. So you need to understand the scope. Okay. One other thing I wish to highlight. For example, this question. You look at the scope. The scope there is community, masyarakat. Meaning kecil je. Masyarakat ni sebenarnya dalam satu society. Society lagi besar. Alright. And then dalam society tu atas lagi adalah the country, nation, negara in terms of that. Alright. So basically apa beza community dengan society? Community ni kecil. Society lagi besar. Alright, dalam society ada community, something like that. Macam belajar matematik pula. Alright, ada yang bulat-bulat in terms of that. Alright, and then in terms of that, country is being built by the society and the community in terms of that. So basically, your scope is just community, kecil je scope kamu, community. So in terms of that, use the word community, do not use the word society. That's one, because it's slightly different. Sedikit berbeza. Alright, that's one. And the other thing is that your point shouldn't be talking about the country. Because of what? Because of there is one particular student for my classes previously. All right, the way to create social harmony in the community, he was something like explaining about kerajaan, the government should make a salary equal to everybody, was saying that, so that everybody will have the same income, and due to that it will create social harmony. Wow, that is very big, because it's not talking about community, it's talking about high level. We're not talking about nation, we are not talking about the country itself. If the question said the ways to create a social harmony in the country, then you can include government point of view. But here is community. Faham tak? Satu kejiranan, satu bandar, satu pekan, satu kampung, terms of that. Alright? So it's not talking country as a whole, as one country. Right? So he was something like explaining about government policy, alright, politician, whatsoever. It's not related. You are off tangent, we call it. Off tangent means what? Lari daripada topik. So you need to be able to identify the scope, my dear. Scope ni. That's why you have to understand the question. All right. What else? I'm something like. Okay, I wish to share with you, but I don't think that we have time anymore. All right. One other samples whatsoever. Never mind. All right. It's enough for that. And then please have a look at the one that I written, the comment whatsoever for your improvement. Please do study that before your actual assessment on Thursday. All right. So please do study this, the one that I have written. Huh? All right. Look at the comment. What sort of a thing that you need to what sort of thing, sorry, the sounds next door. What sort of things that you can improve in terms of that? All right. So have a look, have a go, have a study, look at thesis statement notes, whatsoever, how to develop thesis statement, look at the structure note, sentence structure note that I give you in terms of that, then study. Right. So the one that I show here is just in terms of just a sample. I'm not picking any particular order whatsoever in terms of that. Please do not take it to your heart whatsoever. The one that is volunteer, thank you very much. Right. The one that I clicked just now, please do not feel embarrassed whatsoever. You can improve later on. That is the main part of it. Right. So I'm going to end the class right now, because I believe you have another class after this. I'm taking a lot of your time. You need to take a break. Right. So my dear, please make sure you are ready for the test Thursday, and please make sure you listen to my instruction. I will give you step by step instruction in terms of that. So just follow. All right. And then just wait for it in terms of it. Okay. And then the other thing is, when you get the template whatsoever, do download it first, and do not change my format of the template. I already given it in the instruction. You can read the instruction for the folder in terms of that. Right. So that's it. I'm ending. Thank you very much for participating. I hope you learned something today. All right. I will see you when I'll see you. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy in terms of that. Follow the SOP. All the best for your assessment on Thursday. And please, please, please do go through the essay, and please, please, please do study. All right. With that, uh, I'm something like ending the class. All right. And then that's it. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.